introductory webinar on the Oman-US Free Trade Agreement. My name is Heather, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm with the Oman American Business Center. I just want to start off today really briefly telling you a bit about the OABC and reviewing our FTA program. And then we will get to why you are all here today, the introduction to the Oman-US Free Trade Agreement, which will be presented by Ms. Lana Nimri, legal advisor and head of the AmCham Jordan FTA unit. Then we'll wrap up today's session with plenty of time for question and answer. So for those of you that don't know, the OABC has been a vital part of the Oman business community for the past 20 years, with our mission to support bilateral trade between Oman and the US. We are considered the official affiliate to the US Chamber of Commerce and also one of the largest, most active business networking groups here in the country. We have more than 170 member companies and host at least 25 events each year. A popular question we do get is how we can support companies that want to do business with the US. And there's several ways we could do that. So I'll just real briefly mention a few. First, taking part in our events. You'll develop relationships with businesses that are already doing so, doing business with the US, or meet companies that can provide support, such as logistics or shipping organizations. We do offer learning opportunities specifically on doing business with the US, such as today's workshop. And while today's workshop is free and open to everyone, the majority of our learning workshops are reserved from our members. Our members also have the opportunity to meet and hear from US and Omani government officials. As AmCham, we work closely with the US Embassy, the Chamber of Commerce, and other trade organizations. And particularly when the US government folks come to Oman, we generally work together on programming and events with our members. For instance, last week, we welcomed the US Department of Commerce's Deputy Undersecretary for International Trade, who took part in a roundtable discussion with our members in the energy sector. And this also applies to the private sector. US companies that are looking to come to Oman as either as part of delegation or for investment opportunities also reach out to us for support to ensure that they meet the right people and businesses. So if you'd like to discuss these further, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Now moving on, I'd like to give you an overview of our FTA program. So it's important to recognize that this FTA program was only made possible through the support of the US Embassy. So with their help, we're able to extend this program to everyone at no cost while getting the necessary support and expertise of AmCham Jordan's FTA unit. So today we're all here for our webinar series, starting off with our introductory session. So think of today's session as getting a map. In order for you to complete your FTA journey, you must plan to take part in the remaining four sessions. Our export readiness survey is also now available. This survey has been designed for those businesses that primarily want to export to the US or are also interested in sourcing from the US. The data will be used to help us design and improve our programming, as well as initially identify the companies to take part in our 2-day in-person executive workshop. So Lana and her team will be coming to Oman this October to train companies that are ready to begin exporting to the US and provide them with a full export readiness audit. So if you are interested in taking part in this workshop, please let me know and also take time to do the survey, as this is required to take part in the workshop. Later this year, we'll also be hosting an awards gala to recognize those Omani and US companies that demonstrate the best practices when using the FTA. And then in this fall, we'll be producing a new printed guide on using the FTA, which will be available in both English and Arabic. All of this information on our FTA program, it can be viewed on our website if you'd like to read more about it. So before we get started for today's presentation, just a few housekeeping tips. Please make sure you are on mute. We will try to save most questions until the end. So you can either raise your hand or use the chat box to send us a question. And just so everyone knows, the session is being recorded, and we will ensure that you have access to it after the presentation. And last, like I said earlier, it's important that you take part in all of our webinars to fully benefit. Our next one is actually next week on Monday, June 12th. Lana will be touching upon the upcoming sessions throughout her presentation. And now I'm very pleased to introduce you to Lana Nimri, Esquire, from the AmCham Jordan's FTA unit. Lana is a highly experienced international trade lawyer and practitioner with over 18 years of experience, and is currently the legal advisor and head of AmCham Jordan's Free Trade Unit. In this role, she provides guidance to SMEs on trade-related issues such as tariffs, IPRs, market entry requirements, as well as developing company profiles and supporting export promotion activities to the US. Lana also provides SMEs with training, as she's doing for us today. She speaks on trade issues, negotiations, lead generation, and best practices when participating in trade shows. Lana is a member of the Jordan Bar Association and a certified workplace mediator. She holds a JD from the University of Jordan and an LLM from Durham University in the UK. She is also a John Smith Rule of Law Fellow. It should be also noted that Lana is the only Jordanian to have trained and worked with the WTO in Geneva and the ECDG trade in Brussels. So Lana, again, thank you to you and the Jordan team for being here today. We really appreciate you supporting us on this important initiative. And now I will turn it over to you.
Heather, for this lovely introduction. My name is Ragad El-Khoja. I'm the CEO of AmCham Jordan, and we are very, very happy to be working with AmCham Oman and supporting them as part of the interregional cooperation that we have with all of the MENA Regional Council AmChams. My colleague Lana will start with the presentation and with the training today. As you mentioned, this is like a series of 4 webinars that will be taking place. And in the interest of time, I will hand the floor to Lana. Lana, the floor is yours. And thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, everyone. It's our pleasure to be with you as part of a collaboration process with AmCham Oman. Thank you, Heather, for all your hard work and for all the team in AmCham Oman. So today's session is going to be just an introduction about, specifically about the US-Oman FTA. And we're going to tell you a little bit about where the agreement fits into the global landscape. So as we talk about the global landscape, this is a map of you know, what the actual trading landscape in the world looks like. This phenomenon is called the spaghetti ball phenomenon. It was coined by Bagwadi in 1995 to describe the increasing rise of bilateral and regional free trade agreements, or also referred to as preferential trade arrangements. So if you have a look at this map, it's a bit of a confused, a bit of a mess, yes, a bit of a mess. But you can see, like for Oman, you can see the whole green part that refers to the GAFTA, or internationally also referred to as the BAFTA, the Greater Arab Free Trade Area. Also, Oman is part of the GCC, which is another trade and economic growth and collaboration arrangement. We look at the blue side, looking at North America. That's the US, Canada, MCA, Mexico trade agreement. So we have lots of bilateral and regional collaborations, and yet everybody within this map is part of the World Trade Organization, the WTO. So we're going to start from the high picture, the big and zoom into, as we see, look specifically into the US-Oman FTA. It's important to have this bigger perspective, because this will help us to know how to navigate our trade arrangements, how to source, how to trade, what are the requirements that we need to do. And throughout these webinars, myself and our CEO, Dr. Ragad Al-Khoja, will give you these online webinars in preparation for coming to Oman and giving an in-depth 2-day training. So let's start with the WTO. Of course, Oman joined the WTO in 2000. The WTO brings together over 163 members that are countries or territories, separate custom territories. So you don't. That's why we refer to the WTO as contracting parties, or as members, because the membership can be either a country, a sovereign country, the EU, for example. Together they form one. They join and have a single negotiating position. Oman, all the GCC countries together. So this is the landscape of the agreements that are governed by the WTO. And when we think about it, you have to consider that this is the base on which international trade is built on. There are core substantive agreements and 2 administrative technical agreements. Also, there's another aspect when we talk about trade facilitation. There's another agreement, newly entered into agreement. I just want to stress that what we're talking about is the general perspective, and we're not going to go into too much detail, but hopefully you'll be able to have a full comprehension and grasp of what we're talking about. So the first agreement here is the agreement on tariffs and trade in goods, also known as the GATT. The GATT came into effect a very long time ago, since after the Second World War, in 1948. Yes. It was at that time, I don't know if you remember, this is important to consider, because we talk about free trade, we talk about the relationships between contracting parties. It was after the Second World War, and countries wanted to put together mechanisms and rules that would govern the economic relationships on the global scale, and try to avoid some of the challenges that led to the Second World War. But when it came to trade, the agreement, the organization wasn't agreed upon. Unlike the World Bank, which was a result, or the IMF, or the result of these global initiatives, the World Trade Organization that we have now was supposed to be established then as the International Trade Organization, but it didn't come into effect for many reasons. However, the countries did negotiate this one agreement on trade in goods, and the idea was to bind the tariffs that are imposed on trade, and allow countries, members in this agreement, to trade in a predictable and stable landscape. Since then, for instance, 1948 up to 1994, when the WTO came into effect, there were many rounds of negotiations between these countries, and many countries also joined, or territories also joined, the GATT agreement. In these negotiations, there were results, the Trade and Services Agreement, and other dispute settlement processes. All these things were developed. And in 1994, you have to imagine that the world was in a constructive era, there was a lot of prosperity. So finally, we had the World Trade Organization that came into effect, and it was a single undertaking, one binding. So everybody in this club had to abide by the same rules and offer the same treatment to all other WTO members. Oman, as we said earlier, joined the WTO in 2000, and it became bound with these agreements that form the base for trade relations globally on a multilateral level or on a regional or bilateral level. So we have the services, the goods, the trade-related aspects of intellectual property, and the trade review mechanism, as well as a dispute settlement mechanism. This is unique in the global relations, that the agreement does have a mechanism where countries can resolve their challenges through dispute resolution. These agreements come up to almost 32,000 pages of documents and disciplines within these 4 areas of governing the relationship of trade and e-commerce between companies and between countries. So this is just a simpler look. What are the buckets that we're talking about? Now we're going to talk a little bit about the substantive provisions and how they form the base for free trade. The first is the MFN. I'm sure most of you heard about it, the most favored nation principle. It has to do with non-discrimination. So the idea is that we treat everybody the same way. It's a single undertaking, non-discrimination. Another principle of non-discrimination is national treatment. So you don't discriminate between your own nationals and your trading partners. There are 3 types of trade remedies: safeguards, anti-dumping, and subsidies and countervailing duties, waivers. Of course, we're talking about countries, so there's always a way to have an option where you can bring relief to members through waivers. We're going to talk about all of that in detail as we go along. General exceptions, security exceptions, and regionalism. This is where we have all these growth of bilateral and regional trade agreements. So we have everybody joining this one club, the WTO, yet also there is this option for countries, neighboring countries, countries with specific relations, to have a closer relationship to achieve their common goals and objectives economically, but also politically. So if we look at the map, so we consider everybody should be, ideally, everybody should be in this club together. So we shouldn't have these crisscrosses. Yet, there are an exception allowed to have free trade agreements. Countries entering into these FTAs must also notify the WTO, and there are rules how I can enter into regional and bilateral FTAs. So they have to be, really liberating trade, going beyond what is in the WTO. And we're going to see examples about this. So there's 2 theories about the utility and usefulness of free trade agreements. For us, we believe that it is a step towards bringing countries closer together and hopefully supporting trade to grow between regions and to promote peace, stability, and predictability in the global trading system. But it does add certain costs, additional administrative burdens, and also requires specific skills and know-how to understand how to navigate this landscape and be able to take the best opportunity out of it. So let's have a little look at these basic principles of non-discrimination. Most favorable nation, you have to treat everybody the same. No more quantitative restrictions, binding tariffs. So that means that quotas or export licenses in principle should not be allowed. Yet there are also mechanisms where such measures are allowed. So everything we say, there's a general rule, and then there are allowed exceptions or processes that protect specific interests. We're also talking about the binding, the tariff binding. So each country has a schedule. They negotiate a schedule where they say, for example, potatoes, I'm going to put 0 tariffs on them, and for things that I produce like cars or chairs that I want to protect, I'm going to put a certain 10% tariff on it. So once you agree on that percentage in your WTO binding, you cannot change it. You have to respect that 10%. But what happens in reality is that most countries, they have their binding, their legal binding of 10%, but they will lower it in practice. So they will have lower measures. They will move. They will. They have flexibilities to move within that tariff, as this is in their relationship with other WTO members. So we're talking about the multilateral tariff, the preferential, the general tariff that is applied to all WTO members. Then we have the tariff with the FTA. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. The last principle, national treatment, it means that for products, once they enter your market, so they're allowed behind the border, you shouldn't discriminate with them in taxes or different measures or different standards in the market. But at the border, you can add a tariff. There are or put certain conditions for the product to enter, or the good or the service to enter your territory. But once it's in, you should not discriminate between like products. So we're talking about disadvantages in trading or creating artificial barriers. So these are the basic principles. Of course, there are also in agreed trade remedies. What are trade remedies? They're trade defense tools that allow countries to take measures to protect their local industry against activities that are unfair or situations that might cause harm to their national production. There's three types of measures. The first is a safeguard. You have to think about the safeguard like a general shield. You can raise to protect your national products, but there are rules for this safeguard. Safeguard has to be applied to everybody the same way. You can add a percentage of tariff exceptionally, but there's a special agreement on the WTO on safeguards. But you have to apply it to everybody equally on the product to protect your local industry from serious harm or injury. This has to be for a specific period of time only. The other two are more of a, you have to think of them like a bow that you want to hit a target, or a sword, not your shield. So you're hitting something specific. These are the dumping and subsidies and countervailing measures. So what's dumping? Dumping is when a company, so we're talking about a company, we're not talking about a country, we're talking now about a company. So we're being very specific, we're being targeted. Because as you know, the WTO agreement does not regulate the actions of companies as such, but it's about governing international trade. So what do? I can, if a company engages in dumping simply, you should simply understand it as, so if I'm producing a product and I'm selling it in my own country for 10 dinars, how come when I sell it in Oman, I'm selling it for 5? So I'm selling it at below the cost of production. So this is, in simple terms, what the meaning of dumping. That means the company is taking advantage of its scale or its dominance to break other competitors. So in that sense, the importing country can take specific measures to increase the tariff on that company specifically to offset the dump. The other measure is subsidies and countervailing duties. Subsidies there are red subsidies, green, yellow subsidies, and amber subsidies. So subsidies that are absolutely not allowed, it's when a country, for example, gives an export support directly to its when a country gives money or direct support to companies to help them export in an export subsidy. This is red. It's considered harmful and distorts the market. So for that, if that occurs, then the other country, the importing country, can add a tariff. But there are subsidies that are allowed. For example, when if you want to support energy efficiency, you give a subsidy. Things like that. Those are not actionable unless they cause serious harm. So that's a general overview on the trade remedies. They're very deep, very complicated, and require a lot of investigation, economic analysis. But it's important for you to understand what they are and how they work. The exceptions, as we said, there's a waiver. The waiver is where everybody, all the member countries, take a vote and allow a certain member to deviate from a specific rule, such as a subsidy. Let's say you have an economy that wants to grow, so they give you a waiver that allows you to support exports in a certain field. Again, the waiver is time-bound and all of that. A recent example of a waiver was TRIPS Council decision. This is the Intellectual Property Council to talk about a waiver when it comes to COVID vaccines. So, okay, because it's traded, it's intellectual property, but it's necessary. So there are these flexibilities in the system that allow members to agree together towards common goals and objectives. There are general exceptions. These are situations where countries can outright take measures against a trade agreement. So, for example, a ban on import of products. I would not allow this product to enter, or measures to protect certain exports or imports. A biggest example is how you regulate nuclear material. If also to protect plant and animal life, the trading in for Africa, this is a big deal. There are international agreements about this, about how to trade for endangered species. So all of these things, they are allowed for public interest. Another type of exemption are the security exemptions. So if I want to abide by like an embargo imposed by the UN, I'm allowed to do so for security exceptions. And another exemption, I want to mention it here. It's called special and differential treatment. It is when it's a system within the WTO for LDCs, these developed countries, to have, for example, more time to abide by the rule, more or to have less burdensome obligations. This is a special situation for LDCs. And our favorite exception is the regionalism. So this is where countries are allowed to agree to have different relations, different tariffs between the two parties to an FTA. It could be an FTA bilateral or regional. Remember, like the Oman-US FTA is a bilateral one, while Oman being part of the GCC or Oman with FTA, that's a regional, or the European Union is a regional agreement. I'm going to talk about that in more detail as we go along. Another exception also is the general system of preferences, or so even as we go these four main exceptions, there are other situations that allow countries to also deviate to not abide by the exact rule, such as the enabling clause or the general system of preferences, where developed countries offer developing countries lower tariffs for their products to help them grow and be economically prosperous. So now we give the big picture. As you can see, this is the base on which bilateral trade is built on, the rules, the common rules. The WTO is the base, and then when we do regionalisms or FTAs, I'm allowed to do so as part of my agreement with the WTO. Remember, it's a single undertaking. Everybody in the WTO should not discriminate between other members, should offer MFN treatment to everybody, but an exception is the regionalism. When we have regionalism, there are specific rules and requirements that I have to abide to within the multilateral trading system, but I'm allowed to go further, deeper in my trade relations. So today we have over 330 bilateral and regional trade agreements, and it's representing 90% of global trade. So there are also a depth to the bilateral economic integration, free trade in goods, and economic integration in services. And this is just a simple chart to show us the kinds of preferential trade. The most basic one is an FTA, exactly like the FTA between Oman and the US. As we go deeper, there's a customs union, like the GCC is a customs union, a common market. A common market is between the EU, for example, and the FTA states. You have an economic partnership agreement, an economic union. The EU is the biggest and most prominent example of deeper and comprehensive trade between the member states. And then you have the political union where we have unified activities. All these are different levels of integration. We're just talking about the first level, the free trade agreement, the little blue one. When we're talking about the Oman-US FTA. So this is just a little snapshot of actually what are Oman's bilateral, Oman is a member of the WTO, but it also has, it's a member of regional agreements and bilateral agreements. This is what's the current situation now. The GAFTA or the BAFTA as referred to here, the GCC Singapore, the Gulf Cooperation Council, the FTA Oman is part of these agreements within the group of the GCC because it's a member of the GCC. But also bilaterally, there's United States Oman, and under negotiations notified to the WTO is the GCC negotiating the Japan, FTA with Japan, and with Australia. So the link is also provided here to help you find more if you want to look at what kind of FTAs in this. Specifically looking at the US FTA, it was signed in 2006 and came into force in 2009. It was the US's fifth free trade agreement, and it was part of a global initiative from President George W. Bush to promote economic collaboration between the US and the Middle East countries to promote peace and prosperity. So we see that, again, do you remember what we talked about earlier, that we're talking about you know, the role of trade in promoting peace and stability and economic growth in the global landscape. Also, the FTA came as part of an initiative. Of course, it has an economic purpose. It helps promote economic development. It helps attract investment. It helps agree on principles related to intellectual property, labor, and environmental standards. So we go beyond what's in the WTO. The WTO doesn't have environment, doesn't have labor, but in FTAs, it has, and specifically the Omani FTA has these added provisions. We're going to talk about them more specifically. So the positive aspects of FTAs, it promotes business growth, but it also makes products cheaper for customers to buy because there's no tariff. So it helps consumers have access to good quality products for lesser prices. It attracts investment and puts in place mechanisms for protecting the environment and labor rights and such issues. So the US, this is a snapshot of the US has like 14, 15, if you want to count Japan, trade agreements with the world, 20 countries. So not a lot. Not if we look if we look to the EU, we find that the EU has a preferential trade agreement with almost everybody. And continuous negotiation. For the US, it's we as Arab countries are in a good position. Jordan was signed in 2000, came to force in 2001, so it's an earlier generation. But then you have Bahrain, Morocco, Oman, which were part of the initiative from President George W. Bush, Middle East Economic Area. These agreements are the same. They are like a second generation agreements, and they contain like interesting chapters. We're going to talk about them now, and they're very much like the agreement with some Central American countries, where the US was promoting and entering into bilateral free trade agreements. So this is a general snapshot of the side-by-side comparison. specifically looking at the Oman FTA, it's quite comprehensive, quite deep. It covers trade in goods. It covers trade in services. It has a chapter on environment, labor. It has a chapter dispute settlement. So you see how it's mirroring the WTO. So the base is the WTO. There's mirror base that go beyond what's in the WTO, but also there's additional stuff. Investment is added. Labor is an added thing. Environment is added. Technical barriers, safeguards. You see the remedies, safeguards are specifically dealt with. But when it comes to dumping and countervailing measures, they are incorporated by reference, and countries can use the WTO principle. So you have the systems, they're built on each other and complement each other. There's also annexes to the agreement, and it's quite a comprehensive text, and it's available online. You can access it and read it. There's additional annexes and memorandums on, for example, environment, all that stuff. So we're gonna, as we go through, we're gonna look at some of the basic, just the basic provisions, starting with trade in goods. Trade in goods, of course, there's zero tariff. So now any product that is originating in the US or in Oman can be imported or exported, depending on where you're coming from, at a zero tariff between the two between the two parties. So this is a very it's important aspect and helps grow the economy. But we have to remember that when we're talking about goods, there are other systems and rules that come into play, which are phytosanitary measures or technical measures. Simple example, we talk about food safety, for example. The product can't enter a country if it's not assured that it's safe. Or when we talk about technical barriers, the easiest example is the electricity or the voltage. In the US, it's different. If you want to produce an electrical item in Oman, you have to abide by these technical requirements so the product can enter the US market and benefit from the tariff preference. So these things, we're going to deal with them in the third session. We're going to give you, hopefully in July. Other requirement is the rules of origin requirement. And we're going to have a special session on rules of origin next week. We're going to talk in detail what are the rules contained in the FTA between Oman and the US, their purpose, how they work, and they're very important because it's the nationality of the product. If you don't meet the rule of origin requirement, you will not benefit from the zero tariff. Why is this important? Because when I do a preferential trade, I want to give you the trade. I want to make sure that Omani businesses benefit and that the Omani economy benefits, not that there becomes circumvention of trade and a different country benefits from the zero tariff. Of course, rules of origin are based on the harmonized system. The harmonized system is an internationally agreed, negotiated instrument in another organization based in Brussels called the World Customs Organization. And these are digits that give a description of the product that helps customs identify what it is and put the tariff on it. So this is just a general snapshot. We will have an in-depth session on this on the 12th next week. So when it comes to trading goods, we see that actually Oman exports a lot of raw material, minerals, fuels, irons, and plastics and fertilizers, aluminium. So this is some food products. This is the snapshot of what Oman exports to the world. It's from 2021, but I like this visual. It's from the Economic Observatory because it helps us have, a nice presentation to see just the general perspective. If we look at what the Oman exactly exports to the US. A lot of it is plastics and fertilizers, aluminium, almost more than 20% is aluminium products. And this is interesting because as those of you who actually trade in aluminium know that there is a safeguard, a security exception safeguard, putting a tariff on aluminium products exactly. So we see now how the agreement actually functions in relation to the general exceptions and to benefit, and be able to protect certain interests. A bit of jewelry, almost 6%. Food, very little. Footwear and textiles, very little. We see, even though perhaps there was a booming production in the early days of these sectors, but has since withdrawn. We're going to talk about that exactly in the next session because it's very much related to the rule of origin and how they work and what was agreed in the agreement. Here is a snapshot of what the US exports to Oman, mostly like cars and delivery. Some, the other big chunk is equipment and electric equipment, some medical and chemicals, and we have then a variety of other stuff as well. This is from the U.S. Embassy, from the U.S. Census Bureau. It shows that how the agreement has actually contributed to the growth of bilateral trade between Oman and the U.S. It has had a very positive impact, as you can see. For Oman, a small country, it's exporting a lot. There's a lot of growth, and this is the objective, remember, of an FTA. Promote economic growth, economic development.
And it's still growing.
And it's still growing, yes, indeed. And we hope maybe after our little program with Oman and AmCham, we'll be able to see some additional companies benefit from the great opportunities afforded under the FTA. Again, just to show you a figure.
Excuse me, Anna, I want to give you a little breather. So basically, one important thing here, which I think is important for the audience to know, the FTA is for big companies as well as small companies. So you don't have to be this huge company to be able to export to the US. You just have to have the right compliance with the rules of what you need to have in ground before exporting. And we will be touching on this in future webinars. I hand over the floor to you. I noticed that you were gasping for breath. So maybe
yes, I needed a bit of a break. And of course, we're going to hear more about exporting and sourcing from the US in the last two sessions. As Heather said, it's a bit of a journey, but this is a journey. You need to be fit for the journey. So now we're getting like exercises. We're building up our muscles. We're understanding the language and how to read our map, so we can navigate through the trade landscape. Another positive slide showing the growth and the positive effect that the FTA has had on bilateral trade relations and attracting investments.
This is for non-oil.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I can I'll just jump in here just a second, Lana, give you another chance to catch your breath. So, I mean, now is a great time. You can see the momentum in trade is growing, really strongly. Oman has had, positive growth. So for small companies, as Ragda just said, it's an excellent time to start exporting to the US.
Can I keep going? Does anybody have a question? Because now we finished trading goods, we finished the basic principles. If somebody wants to have a question, we can address it now or keep going. Okay, let's keep going. I guess you're not bored of the presentation. So now the fun part, the services part. Of course, the FTA also contains a chapter on services. mirroring the WTO, and so chapter on services, and also schedule of commitment on services. Services are different than goods, right? How do we understand the service? How do we know what applies to the product? In simple terms, you can say a service is everything that you can't drop on your foot. But now, when the technology changes and the Internet of Things, so we feel that services are intertwined with trade and goods, and also there are certain developments in the global landscape that has to catch up with the trade agreements. That's why we see in the U.S. Oman, even in 2006, when it was negotiated, they did have provisions on telecom, on e-commerce, on digital trade, which is e-commerce, or new principles. It embedded principles that countries were agreeing on for the future, beyond what is in the WTO. Remember, the WTO it's a very important body, contributed greatly to global growth of global trade and regional and international stability and globalization, but it's 136 members, so sometimes it's harder to agree on stuff. That's why also another benefit of the FTA. When we talk about trade and services, everything can't drop on your foot, but it's harder. So the WTO contained definitions on how actually services are exported that affect how our national legislation is defined. So there are 4 modes of supply. I'm just going to explain them to you briefly. They're very simple. The mode 1 is cross-border supply. So cross-border. So I'm in a country and Ragad is in another country. I buy from her an advice, a consultancy. She sends it to me electronically. She didn't move. I didn't move. The service, when I couldn't drop on my foot, moved from one territory into the territory of the other country. Mode 2, consumption abroad. Consumption abroad, it's very basic example, tourism. Tourism is trade. When the tourist moves from one country into the other country, so we have an American tourist coming to Jordan, coming to Oman, they have moved and consumed the service of tourism abroad in the other country. Another example is medical or welfare welcome people traveling to receive medical treatment. This is a form of trade. Mode 3, commercial presence. Commercial presence is basically it's investment. It's investment. So I'm putting an establishment into the territory of the other country. So I'm an Omani company and I go open a branch in the US or open a new company in the US. Because this is very related to the national regulation and what the country has opened or not opened. So what's open to telecom, what's open to financial services. For example, in Jordan, you are allowed as a bank to open a branch and offer services in Jordan as an international branch, a banking branch. You don't have to establish a whole new company. Unlike telecom, if you want to offer telecom services in Jordan, you have to set up a Jordanian establishment in the territory. So it takes different forms, but it's a form of investment and it differs depending on what's the service that I'm talking about. Mode 4, temporary movement of people. This is, so I'm a consultant. I'm in Jordan and I want services from Ragad. She moves, not cross-border. She comes into Jordan as an independent consultant to give me this service.
It's kind of like what we're doing. Like the webinar is just cross-border supply. And then temporary movement of people is when we actually will be going to Oman and assessing the companies and giving them advice and visiting them.
Exactly.
So,
but let's say we open a company in Oman and we want intercorporate transferees, or that's the person moves from the one headquarters to the other headquarters. Nurses, I'm sure you have a lot of nurses, like in Jordan, we have a lot of nurses from other countries coming to visit. They're hired by local hospitals. So this they move from their country into our country to offer the service. So mode 4, there are also subsets within that mode
But
of
also
supply.
governed by certain rules and regulations according to the bigger picture.
Definitely. So each sector, some sectors will be open, like for example, in Jordan, dentist, sorry, we're with our colleagues, we're with our colleagues. Dentists, you can't be a foreign dentist and offer a service in Jordan. But as a doctor, there is a path if you're a foreign doctor to come and give your services or medical services. So normally this is driven by national reality. So we have the most per capita dentists in the region. But doctors, there are specialties, there are certain things. So when a country regulates, and the same will be for Oman, it looks at its objectives,
And national interests.
Absolutely. So it's harder to find data on trading services because of the nature. You can't calculate it exactly, and
You can drop it on your.
can't drop it on your foot. It's difficult to count. But this is from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, and it gives a little look at how much you can see, how much comes from the Middle East and how much comes from Oman. It's not a lot. We have to grow that. So let's.
It could be more, but it's not captured. The data is not really there. So it's like
definitely, but there's more. There's room for development and for US for Omani businesses to export services to the
and the
US.
future is in services.
Definitely. This is from the ITC trade map, also showing Oman's export of services to the world. This is reflecting the data from Omani official sources. There's a project as well in the WTO to try to capture better data. This is from the Bureau of Economic US source about the US trading services by country. I'm sorry, I went the other side. I'm going the other side. This is also a data available from a website, web page that is from the WTO and the World Bank, capturing data, but at the country level. So what Oman exports to the world, not per country. As I said, there's challenges. What it exports, what it imports of services, and since up to 2018. Not specific, just showing the world, but you get an idea, get an understanding. So also the agreement covers intellectual property. It goes beyond what's in the TRIPS and adds additional requirements, protection of copyright, patents, all kinds of intellectual property rights. Also, Oman is supported to note here that Oman is a member of the WIPO agreement, and a lot of this time is mirroring what's in the WIPO already agreed on. We talk about copyright, registration, patent, the designs, artistic creations. Also, as we noted, it covers digital trade. So one of the things that the countries agreed that they will not add tariffs on e-commerce. This is something agreed in the WTO, but not in an anti-tax. It's just like a consensus that we will not add tariffs on e-commerce. E-commerce, we're talking about small packages here, and it's reflected in the agreement. And also, there's what we call a rendezvous clause, where countries agree to discuss together and elaborate and agree specific details. Government procurement is a very special provision. There's a chapter on government procurement between Oman and the US. This allows American companies to bid for government contracts in the US and vice versa. It opens up fabulous opportunities for companies and great projection growth. So this is a privilege that Oman has. I tried to see if any Omani actually benefited from this, but I wasn't able to find specific data on this. We'll hope we can learn more about that as we go along. Labor and environmental provisions. In simple terms, these are what to protect, the vulnerable people in each country and to protect the environment, because historically there were some certain abuses of human rights, certain mistreatment of the environment. So these put in principles to protect and enforce the basic labor rights that, of course, Oman is also a member of the ILO. So you see, it's almost like there is an intertwining between the general.
Puzzle. You have to have all the right.
Yeah, you need
pieces
and they
together.
fit together and they give you the whole picture. In simple terms, they can refer to it as leveling the playing field to make sure that no member abuses its environment or labor rights in a manner that would harm, of course, these basic human rights, basic environmental concerns, and get an unfair economic advantage. Dispute settlement, also the agreement contains provisions on dispute settlement, allowing members to discuss or go to a panel in case of any challenges related to the agreement. These are core principles within the FTA. There are other customs collaboration, other administrative provisions, joint committee, but these are the core aspects. And as we go in our export journey, we're going to talk about specifically the rules of origin, very important for export of goods, the technical requirements, sanitary, phytosanitary, and then Ragad is going to explain to you how to source from the US and how to import from the US. The focus will be on goods, but we will touch upon the services aspects as we go along. So that's an introduction to the US Omani FTA. And join us for next week for the rules of origin.
On the 12th, I believe. On the 12th, same
for,
time.
Thank you.
Heather, the floor is yours. So now, if you want to ask some questions or like take questions from the audience.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for this great presentation. And thank all of you for joining, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. So, you know, as I said, now is the time for questions. You know, please feel free to raise your hand, or you can write them in the chat box if you have any questions for today's presentation.
Dana did a perfect job.
Exactly. Exactly. All questions have been answered.
They don't want to.
They're
going to give you a
break. Well, basically, most of the presentation today was on a government level. So, like, this is what our government, what the ecosystem, global ecosystem is put together. Then eventually, as we go along in the webinars, we will start going deeper into how a certain company can actually start benefiting from the FTA and from the system that's in place. So it will get more specific as we move along, but it's important to understand how this all came about.
Do we have a question in the guidelines? No, the FTA doesn't have specific rules on how to establish. It says you can establish. So there's a chapter on investment. The investment chapter in the FTA is like a bilateral free trade agreement. It gives protections to investors on both sides, from the US into Oman, or from Oman into the US. What we were mentioning here is that the FTA will open up commercial. Remember, there's 4 modes of supply. Let's say I want to set up a company. So the Oman with a hospital, sorry, I want to set up a hospital to give services, medical services in Oman. So I'm a US-based hospital. I want to offer services, medical services in Oman. How am I going to do that? The Omani law will say either you establish a local company 100%, or you can establish a branch. So this is the details that we're talking about. It's based on the Omani law,
the national requirement.
The national requirement, but the FTA will open it or close it or allow certain requirements. So they will say, like, for example, medical services, you can say yes, bound. I open it, or I'm unbound, or I don't open it. So let's say you have a lot of doctors and a lot of medical services. So then when you negotiate, you say, okay, this will threaten me, so I will allow but to enter, but it has to establish a locally company, or its ownership, the investment law will kick in, or if it's allowed a branch, or I would say only 60% foreign ownership allowed. So you will have to revert back to your national laws, but the FTA will either open or close and give the basic requirement on national treatment or
Just to make sure that you're treated fairly.
well, you have to treat fairly, but I'm opening, it's like keys. So I'm giving them the keys in the agreement. The keys will say, okay, you can own it, all of it, or no, you can only own half of it, or you can bring your own doctor. So it's in the services schedule, it's more complicated than the GATT schedule. But it depends on your national law, primarily. Normally it's reflected in the FTA, or you might give special privileges to US investments in certain sectors based on an FTA. I hope I answered the question. Qatar is not included in the FTA. Qatar is a member of the WTO and it benefits from the multilateral trading system. The FTA is a bilateral relationship. There is a connection between the Oman, Morocco, and Bahrain FTA. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Sorry, on the 12th, next time, but it has to do with trade in goods. This is a very good question because you have an interlap, right? There's the FTA with Oman, there's the WTO, there's the GAFTA, and there's the GCC. Qatar is a member of the WTO, GAFTA, GCC. So there's intertwined. There is an intertwined option there, but it has to be considered on a case-by-case basis. So let's say a Qatari company opens up an establishment in Oman. It will become an Omani company. In that sense, that Omani company would benefit from the bilateral trade preferences between the US and Oman, because it's not it might be owned by a Omani, but it's a Qatari company, but it's an Omani company established in Oman. So there, remember the map we showed you? It's a little bit like that. You have to know how to navigate and where to get the best deal. Where to source from. Ragad will talk to you about that in a couple of weeks. And hopefully at the end, you will have a complete and strong comprehension of the trading landscape. And we're here to support you if you have any specific question.
And Dimitri, if I can just jump in real quick. So back to what Lana and Rada was saying. So there used to be Americans could open a company, a fully owned company, 100% owned in Oman. In 2020, Oman introduced the FDI law, which now allows people of any nationality to have full ownership of companies if they'd like to. Again, you know, there's more to the local law. So I think that's where sometimes the confusion comes in, because for many years, it was only Americans under the FTA that could have full ownership of their companies.
Once, excuse me, Heather, once the company is registered as a Omani company, no matter what the investment is, as long as whatever product, whether it's goods or services that are exported, then it's a Omani company exporting to the US under the FTA. So then it's not binding where the investment is coming from. And I think a good example of this is the garment sector, because you had a lot of companies that were from the Far East and from Asia, setting up shop in Oman, in Bahrain, in Jordan as well. And I'm not sure in Morocco how big it was. It was mostly Moroccan companies. And they were exporting to the US. So the actual investment was not American or Omani. So there are many ways, as Lana mentioned, on how you can navigate this, how you can take advantage of this. But we will get into that, and that's why it's important to attend all of the webinars to get that comprehensive understanding of how this all works. I take this. So the visa issue is basically country to country. So if the US provides 10-year visas to Omanis can also give 10-year visas to US businesses or US persons. Like for Jordan, in Jordan's case, our visa rules are 5 years simply because we don't have this agreement. So it's basically country to country, and it's governed by the relations and what has been agreed on by two countries.
I'm not sure if people can see the chat box. We're getting some questions from Dimitri. Thank you, Mr. Dimitri. And we're here. Please, you find our contacts. If you have anything we can help you with specifically, please reach out to us. Our contacts on our website, amcham.jo.
Oh, Sanjeev, I see your hand up. Would you like to go ahead with your question?
Heather, thank you so much for that. I'm not putting on my video. I'm actually officially on a holiday now, so I'm just wanted to attend this webinar because it's pretty interesting. So congratulations to you and the team from Jordan for this webinar. It's quite interesting. The GAFTA, the FTA have all been kind of elusive swan birds for us. And when people ask us something, we also are not able to give the right answer. So I see that what you have organized today is very useful, because I'm talking from a standpoint of not just business gateways, but the communities that we represent, because we, you might be knowing, but for the benefit of the rest of the hosts, we are the supplier certification body to Oman's oil and gas industry, where we have many thousands of suppliers who are registered on serving the Oman's oil and gas procurement. Some of them are manufacturers here. Now, I'm very interested to see that the aluminum manufacturing, the iron manufacturing exports that Oman is doing, it's primarily exports which Oman is doing to US. My question is, this information, what you have given, would be much more interesting to my communities. So do you think that we could probably have a session for our communities, for the JSRS community, on the FTA specifically? So that we kind of ring fence it to the audience who are interested in this corridor between Oman and US. If that is okay, then I'd be very, very happy to take it further and announce it at the earliest possible.
So Sanjeev, I mean, first of all, I'm glad that you were able to jump on, during your vacation. I knew this would be helpful for you and your team. So these webinars are free and open to everyone. This program is being supported by the US Embassy, and that's how we are able to open it to everyone. So, you're welcome to pass those invites every time we send an invite out. We do encourage you to share it. That said, if you are looking to host a private session, I think we could take this message, this conversation potentially offline with the team from the AmCham Jordan unit and see what the opportunities are. So your community, are you talking about your community here locally in Oman or worldwide?
We are about 70% of our suppliers are from Oman, 30% are spread across 110 countries. Mm-hmm. But our objective would be more between Oman and, let's say GCC or the Middle East and US. So that will have a little wider audience, and it will also save the time for us to reach more people.
Right. Okay. I didn't know if you ladies would like to add any comment there. So Sanjeev, so as you know, this is a makeup session. So we've been pushing this event, pretty hard here in Oman. So for our initial call, we did have well over 100 participants on the call. So some of these companies that you work with might very well already be involved. So you and I could, definitely discuss that further.
Thank you, Heather. I think that's fine. It was quite interesting. That's why I ranked it up at this point. Now that we are also joining the OABC, so I'm sure we can probably do something for the communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. I think that Heather's a good judgment to agree with you on future aspects. I would just say that with respect to aluminium, there is a discussion to be had when we talk about the aluminum tariff, steel and aluminum tariff that the US has imposed. So it comes into a safeguard, but a security safeguard. And you can also elaborate on that if you care, on some of specifically the aluminum and steel tariffs. We can talk to you a bit about that, why it's there, how it's there. Also, there's a mechanism for exemption. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's a company, something that US companies can benefit from. So there are more details that we can discuss with you there, if that's of interest to you as well.
Thank you so much, Rana. I think you hit the nerve point. This is what we are trying to see. It's not about hitting it with a spray gun, but we need to go a little more laser focused, because there are, on one hand, Oman is inviting a lot of companies to come in to invest into Oman, and US is a major area where we are looking at bringing them in here. Now, if you look, Oman, it is not just serving Oman, but it is serving the region per se. So manufacturing units which are being put up have a long-term effect in their business. And we have many other bodies which have culminated together in Oman, which forms under the OPAS group now. So all the manufacturing setup, everything comes under these industrial zones. So if you take into consideration the current operating manufacturing companies who are exporting, and if you take into consideration those in the pipeline who are either about to start something or in the verge of discussing something, and if you look at the never-ending pool of the stream of people or exports from America, which is coming into Oman, that gives a whole lot of opportunities for Omani companies to do representations, distributorships, stockers, a lot of opportunities there. So if we can target something like this specifically and hit it not just within Oman, but within the entire region, and then we take some time and promote it, not just give a short thing. So we have our mechanisms. We can also support you to do the promotion, to get the right people from the region to join into this. I feel that could give a little more, a bigger bandwidth.
Project, like Sanjeev, it's a different project.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
Sorry, I said this is a different project. If we are to do something on a regional level, I think something
I'm still not able to hear you. I'm not sure if it's just for me.
Can you hear me?
Is it only for me? Heather, are you able to hear me?
No, it's very muffled. We can barely hear you now.
Yep.
Now? Hello?
Not yet. There you go. Now it's on.
We're back on.
Yes,
We
but
don't
just
know.
speak loudly, please.
Okay, so what I was saying, and I'm sorry about this this disruption, is that this is something that we have to plan, and I think this is something that is a standalone from this program. And Heather, we have to discuss this internally with the other AmChams in the region, and plan and design something in accordance to what Mr. Sanjeev just suggested.
No, but this is fabulous. I love this. It's exciting. And going deeper into the technical rules and being able how to navigate and take the best deal is something that that I think is about awareness and understanding. Because sometimes they refer to the trade as a game, and you have to know the rules to know how to play the game. And make the best of the opportunities. So yes, let's discuss. And we have resources in AmCham. There are local Jordanian experts, but also access to international experts. And we can bring the full force of the AmCham Jordan, technical capacity to address your concerns and your specific needs.
Export expertise, of course, which is very important.
Brilliant. We can think of something like that, because I'm just making it clear for the sake of everyone's understanding. Our objective, Business Gateway's objective, is just to make this awareness to our communities and to get them to connect with you. That's it. After that, then they take it up with you there. So maybe we could talk to entities like OCCI, the MOSIP in Oman, and of course, the US Embassy or OABC, Heathers, all of you put together, if we can create something of one solid event where we bring them, then that will attract the people to come and take a look at what's happening. Then you have a direct connectivity. After that, they can always lean on to you.
Heather knows how to find us.
Yes, yes. And Sanjeev, Mosef and OCCI are involved. They were active in the last presentation. So this is a
Brilliant, brilliant.
So this is just a smaller group of people that came to me after the fact. So they're already involved. So when you're back from
Brilliant.
vacation, like I said, you and I will meet for coffee and discuss further, okay?
Let's do that. Let's do that, Heather. Let's do that anytime next week. I'm sorry if what I spoke was slightly off this thing, but then the content that you spoke was very, very interesting, and I feel the people should know it.
Thank you. Do we have time for just a few more questions? If we have anyone else that has any questions? All right, well then in that case, I think we'll wrap up today's session. So as I said, it will be recorded. We'll send the link out to you in the next day or so. And please make sure to join us again next Monday, June 12th, same time, 11 a.m., when we really start to dig in and discuss the rules of origin. I know this is one of our most popular questions we get, particularly when it comes to textiles and manufactured items. So please join us next Monday. To the team at the AmCham Jordan FTA unit, thank you so much for this presentation. And everyone have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Heather. Hank, thank you all.
Enjoy your time.
See you Monday.
Bye.